20 seconds. 15 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Okay. Rep your city. Let me see the mic. Rep your city. Give me the mic. Rep your city. I got you. Rep your city. I'm gonna tell you how mine. Rep your city.
It's time for us to go live, so rep your city. I really would appreciate if y'all roll with me. Feeling this music cause it makes me wanna step. And if you don't want it to, then you lying to yourself. Cause every time we party, we gon' have fun. I don't know about you, but I'ma rep where I'm from.
Rep your city. Okay. Rep your city. Let me see the mic. Rep your city. Give me the mic. Rep your city.
Welcome to the RYC Live Show. We are back once again with another fresh episode on Rep Your City Fresh Fridays. And my name is Artistic. I'm your host for tonight. And this is Rep Your City Fresh Friday. So how's everyone doing? Everyone out there, how y'all doing? Man, I'm excited. We have our special guest in the backstage area. But before I bring her out, we'd like to just say peace and love to everyone. Please, we encourage you all to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Subscribe. That is at RYC Live. That's our RYC Live channel on YouTube. So if you have not subscribed already, please do so. And if you could also do us a favor and please share this broadcast. Share it to a friend, share it to a family member or a crewmate. We're going to get into some history as usual tonight. And so, sit back and enjoy. Keep it locked and loaded. We do this each and every Friday night at 8 p.m. Continue to share with us and, communicate with us too. If you have any questions or comments for our guest tonight, please feel free to type it in the comment area and send it, and let's have a good conversation. All right. It's Friday. It's nice weather out here in Chicago. Hope it's nice wherever you're at, because we represent Chicago, but we also circulate around the globe. So without further ado, we have our sister in the background, in the backstage area, should I say, and looking forward to it. Hearing her story, very interesting. I got a chance to meet some of her crewmates. They came to the Chicago Hip Hop Heritage Museum from the camp. And, and they brought all type of artifacts and left them with us. So we had all type of goodies, you know what I'm saying? And by the way, we also have a new exhibit coming up July 1st. That's July 1st, 2024 at the Chicago Hip Hop Heritage Museum. So if you have not been there already, please make sure you get down there, kicking off on July 1st. We have a brand new exhibit coming up. I'm sure you're going to like it. So we got maybe a little under 2 weeks away. And so we do this for us, by us, and it's all for you. All right. So without further ado, we have our sister, Lyrical Lioness, in the backstage area. And I'm not going to give y'all her introduction because I'm going to let her do that. So let's bring her to the forefront. My sister, Lyrical Lioness. There she is. How's it going? Wait, let me unmute it. I think it's muted. You might have to unmute. There we go. There we go.
And then you and listen, and then you take the time to show this old lady how to do it, and then I press a button and mess it all. I think I got the dog. How you doing?
Yes.
Thank you again for having me.
You are welcome. Welcome. Yes.
So,
yes, and we're happy to have you on the show. And so, hey, this is all on you tonight. So what I like to do is let's go all the way back. Talk about what neighborhood you came from before you got into hip hop, and what were some of the things that you did in your neighborhood coming up as a youngster?
So I started off on 61st and Marshfield. 61st and Marshfield was like the hotspot for House O Matics.
Okay.
So I started dancing with House O Matics when I was 12 years old, about 12, 13 or so. One of the first females. House O Matic was a very known dance group, and blessed be for me, I stayed on 61st in Marshfield, and House O Matic's headquarters was on 60th in Marshfield. So I was in close proximity, and at that time, everybody wanted to be a House O Matic. Everybody wanted to dance. Everybody wanted to be made feel special because Ronnie had created such an environment for, you know, kids to really get involved in doing something. And the parents and stuff was real supportive. This was back when we used to have like Blue Jay baseball teams. So I was a cheerleader for the Blue Jays over at Ogden Park. And when I got too old for that, I ended up dancing with House O Matics. And so we were like the very professional group, meaning that anytime anybody came to Chicago, we was opening up for them. Anytime there was any concerts, especially at the Regal.
Okay.
Do you remember, I forget the name of the place. It was like on 47th and Halsted. It was a concert venue over there.
Oh, the amphitheater.
The amphitheater.
Yeah.
So anytime anybody came to the Regal amphitheater and things like that, we used to always open up for them. And so, yeah, I danced for many, many years, traveled around the country doing a lot of different things. And that ultimately led us dancing for Chicago hip hop artists. So we will open up, and I don't know if you guys remember the Black Radio Exclusive Awards. So that was kind of like when I really knew that, you know, House O Matics was a big thing, because we ended up meeting everybody who was anything. And it was actually the rise of Uptown Records. Mr. Puff Daddy was dancing for Stacey Lattisaw. He was, and I'm telling my age talking about Stacey Lattisaw. Stacey Lattisaw had him as a dancer, and this is when Belle Biv DeVoe, I remember, I have pictures with them from when we were younger.
Okay.
But Belle Biv DeVoe, they were just little skinny dudes. They, you know what I'm saying? I didn't even recognize them from being from New Edition, but this is when he had grasped them and turned them into artists. So yeah, everything I did started from dancing, and I think it just went on from there.
Okay.
But
Now I was going to ask, do you all remember another crew? I know the House O Matics was from the South Side, correct?
Yes.
So there was another dance group that was real popular here in Chicago. They were actually from, well, I think most of them, or at least some of them, were from the West Side, but they went by the name of Phase 2.
Yeah, Phase 2. Absolutely.
Okay.
We used to battle all the time.
Okay.
We used to battle all the time. Footworks, Kings and Queens, baby. It was always, and you know what, to be honest with you, that was the first time that I got a chance to go out west. Because remember, I told you I was 12 and 13 years old. So the only time I got a chance to go on that side of town was when we did these dance things. Because we was dancing everywhere. Remember the Glass House Bar? We used to dance at all of these different places. You know what I'm saying? Way too damn young to be in these places. But we also, but we always danced, and trust me, they didn't let us drink or anything like that. They held us to a high regard. And you know what I'm saying? Our parents, we always had chaperones and stuff like that. But yeah, we used to get it in with them, buddy. And this is back when you used to be able to battle with each other, and it really wasn't like no fights and stuff like that. So, you know, I kind of miss those days, but it was great, great competition. And it always made you sharp, because when the Bud Biliken Parade came around, baby, it was showdown.
Yeah.
You the woods, you gotta come out south.
Yeah. The Bud Biliken Parade did bring out the best in many of us.
Absolutely. And I think I was in the Bud Biliken Parade more than 15 times. Again, I told you I was on the Blue Jays cheerleading team, and we actually were great cheerleaders. They used to have like cheerleading competitions and stuff like that for the cheerleaders of the baseball and basketball teams in the community, and I cheered with them. My mother kept me in the gang and stuff. So
that's what's
pretty
up.
much.
That's what's up. You know, I was just thinking about how back in the days, and I remember when I was young, you know, a young kid, and I remember in our community, and not just in our neighborhood, but in, you know, most Black neighborhoods, you know, you would see girls jumping rope, but you don't see too much today. So, you know, I just wondered, was that something that you did too back in the day?
Man, we was doing popping cheers. That's how I ended up getting a House O Matic. We was fast. So we was doing them cheers that your mama told you don't do, the munchy chee. I can't pop my. So that's seriously how I ended up getting a House O Matic.
Gotcha.
Because we used to go to, kind of like everything was competitive back then. Remember,
right.
You know, it was block against block, but not in a negative kind of way. But, you know, whoever had the best basketball players. Oh, remember the mattress flippers? So whoever had the best mattress flippers, whoever had the best cheerleaders and dancing. So back then for us, it was double dutch and popping cheers.
Right.
So because I was getting it on them popping cheers, they was like, we think you should dance in House O Matics. My baby ain't finna be out there taking booty doing, and here I am. The opportunities was just relentless. So yeah, I guess a little booty popping didn't hurt too much.
So what year did you actually join the House O Matics? What would you if you had that?
80, 87, 88.
Okay.
It was real early because I remember the trophies saying 80s, like an 8 on it, 88, 89.
Okay.
That was right the transition from baseball to dance. And then it went from dance to music, to hip hop.
Gotcha. Okay, interesting. So let's talk about your introduction with hip hop, because I understand that someone that we all know gave you your name. So tell us a little bit about that.
So I was a pretty popular person because of House O Matics, right? So you always had the favorite dancers and such. And so I lived on 64th for Damon. So anybody know about Damon, everybody knew my porch was the hot spot to be. And that was mainly because we used to practice in my backyard. My mom used to let us stump out the grass, as she called it.
Okay.
Stump out the grass. We'd be lined all the way up the blocks, cars all down. So everybody would come sit on my porch. And there was this one guy that I had a crush on. His name was DJ Dr. Seuss. Hey, Brandon. He had a friend named Titan Davis, and they came and sat on my porch with me a couple of times when Brandon would come visit me after practice and stuff like that when the porch got empty. And I used to be on the porch rapping all the time. I didn't want to dance, after certain longer dancing, the dancers would get together and we'd be rapping in corners. Now, I used to think I was cold because I was a freestyle person, you know what I'm saying? We used to play all these different games, and it just so happened that Titan had heard me. And so after a couple of visits or whatever, you should do this and you should do that. I'm gonna give you gonna be rapping. No, I'm not. I'm excited. I'm like 14, 15 years old. I really wanted to do the rap thing too, because it was becoming really popular at the time. Mm-hmm. And I was getting bored with dancing. So he was like, I'm gonna give you a name. My name was Crazy Case.
Wow.
My name was Crazy Case. Crazy Case.
Now, is that something that you came up with on your own, Crazy Case?
No, he gave me that name. And it's for me. Crazy Case, he gave me that name. Okay. Now, the name has evolved when I got older and started growing up and started looking at things a lot different than what I looked at. I changed my name to K Sarah.
Okay.
So my name is still K Sarah, the Lyrical Lioness. But as you get older, you start shortening things up. And then when you grow past certain things, you have to move past it. So when I got more involved, and we'll get to that later in the conversation, when I got more involved into the political aspects of stuff, I wanted to share a little bit of that and become the woman, the woman aspect. So like stages of elevation. But I bet you I could tell you I know everybody based off what you call me.
Right.
I can tell where I know you from based off what you call me. So if you call me Case, Crazy Case, or something like that, you know me from the hip hop industry. If you call me Rah, something like that, you know me from the hip hop industry. Now, if you Lyrical Lioness, for the most part, you know me from poetry.
Okay. Now, I want to understand and help the viewers understand, how did you get into rhyming though? Before you met Titan, you was rapping, right?
Yes.
So how did you get, what was it that sparked that interest to make you start wanting to rhyme?
So I've been performing since I was 8. I was one of those hyperactive children. So they used to have this stuff called speech contests.
Okay.
And ever since I was 8 years old, I would go to these. They would give me these long speeches. And honestly, my first speech that I learned was the Philadelphia Plan. Go freaking figure, right? I memorized the entire Philadelphia Plan. And so when I found out that I was good at that, I got a taste for performing on stage. It became something that I was good at and something that I like to do. So it opens you up to different types of work. So they gave me a poem once before to do it. And it was about a young man who was in a car accident. And so it became a place for me to be able to write. So I started off writing poems early.
Okay.
I remember one of the poems that I wrote was to my best friend, Tanika. I wrote a poem to her, thanking her for being such a sweet girl, because we grew up kind of rough. So her parents and, her mom and her brothers and stuff like that, I was able to be embraced by their family. So I remember writing her a poem, and ever since then, I just never stopped. So, I listened to a lot of you know, it was NWA, the stuff that you weren't supposed to listen to back then. So Scarface was like everything to me.
Okay. Okay.
Scarface was everything to me. So I started emulating my pattern behind his pattern to teach me how. And then I just went on to my own. I remember always wanting to stand out and be different than everybody else. So I created this vocal style that was just wild. You can hear the raspiness in my voice. So I guess I kind of used it to my advantage and started distorting my voice and being around a lot of different people. And it just became something that I wanted to do. When I got introduced to people who really did it and they were able to tune and sharpen up the skill set, it became something that I just really had to do. And I was relentless with it. I'm a Pisces, baby. And once my mind gets stuck on something, I'm going.
So you started when you were in grammar school. Were there any girls at that time rapping that were around you?
No, there were no females to look up to.
Okay.
And as I got older, I realized the only females that were in Chicago was Nuisance and Ange 13 and all them. They was way on the west side. Don't forget, I was young, so I never could get on the west side, and they didn't have social media and stuff like that. So really know too much about them back then. But when we got later on in the game, I ran into all of them.
Okay. Now let me ask you, how did you, like, what was your source of the music? Where were you getting this music from at that time when you first got into it?
My cousin Tona, she was listening to NWA, and I remember one time asking them why they ain't got no shoestrings in their shoes. It wasn't NWA, it was Run DMC.
Okay.
Asking why they don't have no shoestrings in their shoes, and I remember because we all used to stay in the same house, and I remember going downstairs and listening. So a lot of the stuff was based off of what other people were listening to, because or a tape that somebody let me borrow, because I remember the little cassette tapes, and then I would steal the cassette tapes, and then I'll put the tissue paper in the cassette tape, and we'll go to somebody's house who had the radio with the two things side by side, and then I'll record what they got on that side of the tape, on this side of the tape, and I'll be able to go home and just listen to some of the stuff. But I have an audible memory. So when we would go to these dance practices and we'd go to studios and stuff like that, I would just hear and pick up and retain it.
Okay. So what do you remember what radio stations that you were listening to back then for music?
KKC, B96, I believe it was 89.3, 98.7, something like that. But I remember KKC.
KKC. So you listen, was that when Pink House was on there?
Yeah, and way before Pink got on there.
Okay.
So it was KKC. So remember, I started off in house music, so I knew all of the DJs back then. So it wasn't really a radio thing back then. Remember, it was only KKC and whatever they played on GCI at nighttime, if they did that. My memory starts to get a little bit foggy there, but KKC was definitely the one that we listened to the most because they used to play underground music on there, Chicago music, period. So
okay. What about HBK? Did you ever listen to HBK?
If I did, I don't remember.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah,
if I did, I don't remember. Remember, I was young. I'm an old lady now. I keep telling
Yeah, KKC was good though too. I remember when they started the rap show on KKC with with Pink House, because like you say, before that they wasn't even playing rap.
They wasn't at all. They was a lot of mosh pottery, 80s pop music.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because this thing kind of works off of a timeline, and when you kind of put the pieces of the puzzle together, it starts to make a lot of sense. Now, going back to what you were saying about Titan,
he's a legend.
Yeah. And it, like we all rotated from different neighborhoods, and we circulated around the city to kind of do this hip hop thing, and we just kept nurturing, we kept feeding off of each other, basically, and like you said, one thing led to another, then boom, before you know it, you're on the scene, you're
right.
That
was like the weirdest thing ever. So I was just talking to Ronnie Sloan, which is the president of House O Matic, and I remember I used to always get in trouble because when we used to do these dance things, we would be backstage opening up for like Ice Cube, DJ Quick and all these different. I remember I opened up for Jay-Z and Scarface, and that's how I ended up meeting. I actually ended up meeting Scarface, and that's back when they had Gangsta Nip, when they just put Big Mike in over Bushwick, kind of like around in that little time frame area. So that's when it really started to happen, because I was dancing, and then I ended up running into people that was in the rap industry, and I used to pass my tape, again with the tissue and the tape. I used to pass my tape along, and actually had somebody call me back, and there it is. And I think I forget where I did a show. Matter of fact, it was for KKC. It was at the college. It was at Kennedy King College. We did a show at Kennedy King College, and I met my rap partner, Crooked. Crooked, it became Crooked and Case. And so Crooked and Case did a talent show at the Click. Back when the Brett did a talent show with the Click, and we both came in second place. This was back when all the rappers lost to singers. I didn't care how horrible they were. We always lost to a singer person or something. Crooked and I got together, and that is where we got picked up by the camp. The camp was actually in there. I don't know if they was looking for some people. I don't understand if they were scouting out for artists or whatever, or if they had performed. But we met them there when we got off stage, and they brought us on as the male and female duo to that group.
Gotcha. So how many people would you say made up the camp? Was it small in the beginning, or was it always big?
I think it was like 13 of us. It started off with Ghetto Mob, and it was 3 of them. And then Boss decided that he wanted, to make an entire record label. Then it was Abnormal. No, it was Trauma. The 2 females, Mahogany and Cherie. And then it was Abnormal Clique, which was 3 of them. And then we got me and Crooked. And then we had Hitcher Santana. So collectively, it was like 13 of us. And I did say Abnormal Clique, so it was 13 of us. And then we had G-Ball, who passed away. Subsequently, Crooked passed away. Boo Kill from Abnormal Clique passed away. So it was collectively like 13 of us.
So y'all lost 3 members so far?
I think 4. Yeah, 3 members, but like a lot more family members, because we at some point in time, we all had a house that we all basically stayed in. The studio was there, and if it was your week to record, you stayed upstairs in their room. Wasn't no leaving. Boss didn't play with us, baby, at all. And I think that had a lot to it. That work ethic that he had reminded me of the work ethic that we had to retain being the House O Matics. I mean, if you didn't come with it, you wasn't gonna dance. Because we wasn't just dancing on the block. Again, it was the Bud Biliken Parade, opening up for all these different artists at the Regal. We were trendsetters at that time, so everybody was watching everything that we did, and nobody put you in the front if you didn't know what you was doing. And so when I joined the camp, it was the same thing. I tend to join organizations that got their stuff together, and I really was very blessed to be a part of the camp when they first manned, because we used to come in like 100 deep. So this is back when, if you wanted to be on the show, so I know you know the symmetrics of being in the show in Chicago. Back then, you had to pay to open up for these places, and I don't care who try to lie and say they wasn't picking talent. They was picking whoever had the biggest draw. You know what I'm saying? They was picking whoever. That's kind of like social media is based off the same thing. It's the basic draw, but back then it was flyers everywhere.
Right.
Putting flyers on cars or parking lots or what have you, but they was going by the biggest draw. Now, I remember when we used to go to these shows, non-exaggeration, it used to be like 30, 40 cars deep.
Wow.
And everybody would be banging, one of our songs through the line, and we had the camp van. It'd come through banging and dun, 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 dun. We used to enjoy. It was a ball. It was a time was had, baby.
Wow.
We came in numbers, so that gave us, the catalyst that we had, because everybody wanted to know who were we. Yeah, we had all of these people, and we were a mosh posh of everything. This is back when GDs and Stones and Moles and all the rest of that couldn't get along with each other. We was a big mosh posh area. So it was like back when gangbanging was super popular, but it was organized. It was like an organization. It wasn't the mess.
Right.
I was back when you could say that I was a part of an organization. So to see all of that camaraderie together on the different stars was actually very enlightening to me. It was a great learning experience.
That's what's up.
So those people are forever my family.
That's what's up. So we have a picture here, right? So you all had jackets, and tell us a little bit. And this was what was that? That was an advertisement in a newspaper, right?
Yes. So we were basically like on 157th and Minerva. I think that's, what is that, South Holland? No, Dalton. So we was
Okay.
down in the Dalton area. That was kind of what our home base was. So we used to get all of, when they used to have different events and stuff like that. Again, they used to open up, kind of like how it was with House O Matic. So House O Matic was still doing their thing over here, but when hip hop artists came to Chicago, they was looking for us. So it was like every time I went somewhere, I was a part of a group that people would come to Chicago and say, "Can y'all open up for us because y'all got to drive the pool and people want to." So we got these jackets and everybody wanted. We had our own wardrobe. We'd get on stage 90 deep, and all of us would have on like these. I had baseball jerseys. We had these different type of styles, and this was back when the Mercenaries used to get on stage and you remember the Mercenaries. So when the Mercenaries used to get up there, we used to open up with the Mercenaries.
Okay.
So we would open up for like Do or Die. This was back when we would open up for like Crucial Conflict or the Drama War, Psychodrama, and all the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how we met all of them, because we started opening up for them. So when we came in with our clothes on, who is that? It's Shaq. Boy, I'm talking about, we had camp jackets, and I think towards the end, everybody got their stuff stole because everybody wanted to keep a memorandum. But we all had camp jackets. They were our uniforms. They were literally our uniforms. We wearing the camp vest today. Wear your black camp jacket. You know what I'm saying? It was just, wow. We stood out. We really felt like superstars because everywhere we went, it was those flyers all over. Now imagine 63rd Street just full of flyers. 63rd, 47th, 51st, 55th, 95th, 87th. Those was all the streets that everybody used to post all of their flyers and stuff on because they was the main artery. So yeah, we thought we was special.
That's what's up. Yeah, those were good. Those were good times because I always kind of think about how people do marketing and promotion now. It's more online, versus street.
It wasn't like it was. You had to hustle back
then.
Yeah.
And
I would say that I'm not a part of today's societal online things because it just rubs me a different kind of way, because you got to continuously do stupid shit to be relevant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But back then it was pure talent.
Yeah.
Pure hustle.
Right.
It was, if you didn't go out there and put that flyer in that car, wasn't nobody coming to your party.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you didn't go to the party and tell people about your party, wasn't nobody coming to your party.
Yeah.
If you didn't go to the studios where you knew the other performers was, well, nobody gonna know about your mixtape. So you used to have to use them transfers on Sundays, get them looked and go, and go around from town to town and make sure you got to the place where the business was at. And that was the only way. You know what I'm saying, hustling your way backstage just to meet local rappers. So you could get, and my whole thing was just, let me get 8 bars. That's all. Just give me 8 bars. That's all I need.
Yeah. That's what's up. Now, did you have any like artists from New York that you used to like in the very beginning when you started that was like an influence for you?
No.
Okay.
No. So again, I was limited to what I can hear.
Okay.
We didn't have a lot of money, so I didn't have like a whole bunch of tape decks and all the rest of that stuff for money. And then my mother was kind of strict, so I listened to it anyway, but I couldn't like literally.
Right.
I couldn't own it myself.
Right.
So I was limited to, what I heard. And it wasn't until I became an opening act for whatever came before I was opened up to other music. I didn't even hear them.
Yeah.
Because, we was down south gutter music.
Okay.
And I will say, if I did see somebody from New York, it was on, what's that, MTV Raps, MTV Raps, or from the Jukebox.
Yeah.
Remember the Jukebox? But I didn't have heavy entry to them, only what their commercial music was. Gotcha.
Because you mentioned Run DMC, and Run DMC was, they broke the mold, so to speak, when because they had acquired a lot of commercial success.
Right.
So not only were they being played on local radio, but they actually broke over to commercial radio.
Mainstream,
mainstream. So everybody knew Run DMC at one point, whether you were a fan or not. Like you asked, why, like you say, why come they don't have any shoestrings?
Yeah, I did ask. I asked my cousin. I was like, "Who is this? And why they ain't got no shoestrings?" And then, and so after that, it became Easy. So Easy E was around that time when Luke came out and broke the mold.
Yeah. Yeah.
Lou came out and Easy E. So I was a little street thing. So, you know, I was more drawn to gangster rap more than anything because I was, you know, I was out here doing things. So I was more prone to that kind of music because that's what I used to write about. It was literally my life at the time. So I wrote about, you know, the things that I understood, the things that I knew.
Okay. That's what's up.
So it was Scarface for me.
Well, you know, we do come from the city of gangsters, so
you know what? But then when I started hanging around different people like Titan and Dr. Seuss, I found out different artists like Pharcyde and started listening to the extensions of different rap groups, and I started running into just the different walks and started listening to different genres again. And this goes into me growing up and then entering into my professional life. At the same time I was rapping, I was in college and doing different things. So I started meeting different ethnicities and they started turning me on to a lot of other stuff. So just by proxy of communication and association with other people that I learned about everybody.
That's what's up. Well, listen, we're going to take a quick commercial break and we'll pick up where we left off when we come back.
Okay.
All right.
We back in this bitch, reppin' the side.
Spectacular vernacular, flip styles like spatula.
8-ball, corner pocket, I drop shit.
Kicking in your dough like Rambo.
Negro, don't forget the mysteries.
If I wake up them C's, then I put them to sleep like 211 with pills in it.
But if they got body, they probably got bodies.
Starting to ass whooping, poisonous like strychnine.
Made in the image and likeness, my existence, the God.
The city of haters, shady behaviors, hugging nuts of their favorites.
I'm gonna lead us here, just to say the least. A&R's killing the game, now it's AR leaks. I wanna bring to you some lyrical demonstration and representation from some heavy hitter spitters. You know what I'm saying?
First of all, let me explain the situation like this. JMD, Mr. Club Banger, still 80s hot, and ain't shit sweet on the bars unless it's Bailey shit.
Never will a hater have me acting out my element.
If you wanna battle me, I battle you. The only way you win, I've got on the side of you.
Straight to the point, 8 bars, metaphors, punchlines, and no mumbling. Shouts out to Chicago MCs, reppin' they city, showed up and showed out, enough said and no excuses.
Look, there's nothing new under the sun. Check my profile, trust me, bud. Y'all just tapped into an old style. Yeah, I used to cop 8 balls, rolling rocks. Every blue moon, import private stock. It's in my DNA, it's all in my spit. Check me for a drop, it's all in my shit. Test my hair follicles, I done smoked a lot of crews. If I won't hire, that mean you're not approved. Copy that, I'm straightforward like chainmail. Cops arresting prostitutes is fucking up their brain cells. So I try to come with a level head. A hard chick, soft and sweet, that's a devil egg. I'm the bomb, no ghostwriters lay raw lines. Like severed legs and metal legs, they all mine. Body parts resemble a Mardi Gras. And 2 9 double M's with double C's is not a bra. Compared to prison, I got a lot of bars. Me without is like hip-hop without a Nas. It's like living without a God, healing without the scars, of quitting before you start, a wizard without the R's, wishing without the stars, bidding without the odds, a fishing without a rod, killing over some broad, a killing without a cause, Muslims without a mosque, or hooping without LeBrons. I handle bars that are stretching like tight ropes, make you reflect on your wheel like bike spokes. Trust fund, now share that to your next of kin, cause I'ma catch a body like leopard skin. Get it? Cat fur body,
method then. Here's a compact disc for the record then. Post bonds, the closest you get in the record spins. Now that's what I call arrested development. Everyday people, every day I see through transparent ass egos and shut them down like E2s. Don't think that I softened up or lost my touch. I'ma remain hip hop, even if I lost a crutch. 36 bars, 24 bars to go. You're tough enough to take a punchline, I bet you won't dodge the flow. Man up, man down. You try to stand up, you stand down. Hands up, not hands down. Real MCs don't look like rappers. Real kingpins don't look like dealers. I can squeeze the mic and hurt your feelings. I'd rather speak and encourage the children. Street fights ain't worth the killings. Since Cain and Abel, we're still murdering siblings. Murders I witnessed and murders to innocent citizens like Ferguson. Murder senseless. You never heard of a sentence until you sentence one. And just for the record, you can spin this one. Then it's done. Come and get it. Dinner's done. Wait a minute. Simmer some. Process when it's done. Many acts when they hear me where I come from. That's ridiculous. I fuck where I come from. Word of mouth. I'm that dude you heard about. None of that rumbling, summoning, mumbling shit. The word's been out. Woke up from hibernation cause I barely sleep. Pigs, cheetahs, and snakes who I primarily see. From Sesame Street to wildlife, I love counting big birds since my child life. See, I ain't got a sag to show my ass off. A few shots at the bar and it's last call.
Let's see if the break is over.
Look, there's nothing new. Look, there's nothing new on the.
All right.
I'm laughing at myself as I'm doing the interview with this playing in the background.
1 second here. 1 second. All right, we back, y'all. Sorry for that.
That's
so,
okay.
yeah, man, listen, shout out to my homeboy, Mr. RYC Live himself, aka Mr. Club Banger, aka Mr. JMD.
I love it. You know what? I was just he had called me and talked to me before, and I was like, he was like, "Do you remember me?" I said, I went back to the old lady speech. I'm like, man, I'm old. I know exactly who. He said, "Mr. Club Banger." I just dropped my head like, you gotta forgive me, man. It's like again, one of the things that was very different for us back then is that we didn't have as much exposure. We were all word of mouth. Everything that we did was word of mouth back then. So
yeah,
it's very different then. I mean, the world would have been so much different if half of us in our generation was seen.
Yeah, that's true. Because like I tell people, we didn't have the internet when we were coming up.
We didn't.
You know what I'm saying?
And I believe that if we did, the messages that are being seen now, it'd have been 180 degrees from where it is now if we had the exposure that the wrong people got the exposure.
Right. All right, well, let's talk about, as you continue to develop and move on, did you join any other crews outside of the camp after the camp?
No, it was just Crooked and Case. Okay. I had this thing called loyalty. If I started with one thing, I wouldn't go jump to another crew or anything like that.
Okay.
But once I stopped rapping, that was it for me. I moved out of the state. So stopping, rapping and stuff like that was not easy for me, but I had a kid and it was time for me to choose. I couldn't do the road trips anymore. I couldn't spend the night at the camp anymore. I couldn't do all the fun stuff that we was doing anymore. So I had to do what was best for me. And I ended up moving to Wisconsin.
Okay.
I had to raise my son, who will be 29 years old this year.
When was your son born?
1995.
Okay. So that was around the time that you kind of stopped rapping?
Yep, 95, 96. I want to say the last thing I recorded was in 1998.
Okay.
So I moved away because, Chicago was starting to get bad. And this is back when if one person got shot, the whole neighborhood was shook. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because they really wasn't doing the stuff that they were doing now. It was kind of like anomalous at that time.
Right.
So when it started hitting home, you know what I'm saying? And it was time for me to move around. I told you I was a fun person back then. So it was it was basically time for me to, to kind of move around. And so I moved up to Wisconsin to raise my son. I ended up going to college and changing my life and becoming a paraprofessional. So,
okay. Yeah. That's what's up.
Mm-hmm.
Now, let me ask you, how would you define your style? Because I seen a little clip. I hate I wasn't there that day when you came with the family to the museum, and I seen y'all in the cypher.
Yeah.
So how would you define your particular style of rhyme?
Free. I never
Okay.
had any form or anything like that. It would just be
Okay.
whatever I decided I want to go with a beat because I'm silly. And
Okay.
again, because I have a very unique voice,
Uh-huh.
I used to play around with my voice and do stuff like, just go all the way up the scale and come back down. And,
Okay.
because nobody couldn't do it back then, and everybody used to sound a certain kind of way. So of course when Mystical came out, I was in love.
Right.
I was in love because I liked the way that he threw his voice around. So I will always attest to say I'm a cool writer and stuff like that, but most of mine was my spit. It was my lyrical projections. That was just everything for me. But it was just me. I didn't want to sound like anybody else. It was a mosh postury. I can't say that I've mimic myself off of anything. But once you in poetry and you learn stanzas, and you learn the magic behind bars, you find that you write in a 1-2, 1-2, or 1-1-2-2, or 4-2. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that's when it became fun for me, is when I'm trying to compete with the guys. It wasn't no females to compete with. I'm like, boy, all your rhymes sound the same. So we started messing around with the rhythms and the numberings and how we used to do it. And that's back when they started introducing 32s, because we only knew 8s and 16s. And T came out and started dropping 32s. We like, wait a minute. It was just growing and learning. But again, knowing and being in school and studying poetry, I learned about stanzas and I learned how to flip things around. And so I just played around with my voice a lot to make those stanzas stand out, because I didn't have regular rhyming conventions back then.
Okay. So have you did you ever get a chance to do any recorded stuff that was published?
Yes.
Okay.
So we had the Camp EP, and then we had the Camp album, and that's when everybody had like 3 or 4 songs on it. It's still on YouTube, and it's still one of the dopest albums. Like, seriously, not because I was on it, but this was back when everybody was meticulous about being sharp. Wasn't no punching. You got a lot of punch rappers now. And for those of you who do not know what punching means, that means you start a rap, they stop it and put you back in and smush it to make it sound like you sound real good. It wasn't no punching.
Okay.
He was like, if you don't get in there and spit, it's like I'll punch you in your stomach so you can get it out. We was super duper tough on each other to make sure we got that out. So no.
Yeah.
No,
okay.
it was very serious. You went at home and you practiced. Like, there was a wall. I would stand in front of the wall so I can echo. And I learned that again in speech class.
Okay.
You had this wall where you would reflect your voice off of. You're interjecting it to reflect your voice so you can hear how you sound. Because studio time costs money.
Yep.
Well, nobody playing with you in them studios, because if you went over your time, you only get 3 tracks. You get your mains, you get your overdubs, and you get your ad libs, and you better get out. That's all you getting. Because costs money. You know what I'm saying? So we had to be on our square. Every organization that I've ever belonged to was meticulous, or I wouldn't be a part of it. If it wasn't great, I didn't want to be a part of it.
That's what's up. What was the name of the album?
We So Ghetto, the EP, and We So Ghetto, the album.
Gotcha. Yeah, just for the viewers, just want them to get that. So let's talk.
We So Ghetto. What's wrong with that? See, you roll with a rat pack in a Cadillac with the fat track. Yeah, body bumping the camp.
Now, is there a big difference for you as an artist when you do performances rhyming versus poetry?
Yes.
Do you have to turn yourself on and off for those the differences?
I definitely don't turn myself off. That's the reason why my name is the Lioness. Like,
okay, gotcha.
If you ever see me do poetry, you will hear me get on stage and say, "This is therapy for me."
Okay.
And hip hop, honestly, there's a topic of discussion that you have to stay within the lines of, with, so you can remain relevant.
Right.
So you have different topics. You can't talk about stuff that in hip hop that you can in poetry. So poetry had a little bit more freedom for me. That's the reason why I kind of leaned forward, because I wasn't stuck in a box. I wasn't in a box where people told me that, you can only talk about bang, bang, shoot 'em up, selling drugs and all that. And however much, we did it back then, it's just, you get tired of hearing about that tragic ass shit all the damn time. So, poetry, when I get on stage, it's the delivery for me. Again, my projections are, key for me. Everybody knows I'm gonna give you a nice show.
That's what's up.
Give you a real nice show. I love to entertain those people, and I have such a very strong gift of discernment, so I can feel the audience more when I do poetry because they're more attentive. So it brings out a different side of me. The more the adult or the more cultured side of me. Hip hop was me being running around and being a kid and enjoying life freely and not really taking accountability for the stuff that was coming out of my mouth. And so as I got older and started understanding that what comes out of your mouth becomes a preface of what you are as an individual and how you are viewed as an individual, a lot of that stuff changed for me. And so I'm happy to say that I started looking at myself like that when my son was about 3 or 4, when I decided I gotta go. So when my son was 4 years old, I moved out of Chicago and I moved to Wisconsin, and I did what I had to do to put myself in a position so I could survive and be the woman that I am today.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So I have a couple more images I want to share, and you can talk about them. Here's one. Now this one looks very engaging.
Yeah. So that's the Lioness roaring right there. So This particular event, it was the Wisconsin 3rd annual Black Artist and Culture Fair.
Okay.
It was run by Scott Terry here in Racine. So when I did move to this area, I want to go back to poetry. Like April 12th of 2014, one of my friends asked me, well, a couple of months before that, one of my friends asked me to come to a poetry set. I'm like, I don't know poetry, I know rap. So I took a rap and I slowed the rap down. And when I did it, the feeling was just, I loved it. And I hadn't performed for 10 years because when my partner Crookie passed away, I didn't want no parts of the stage. I didn't want no parts of anything because it was super tragic. He died of anaphylaxis at a restaurant in Atlanta, and it was just terrible. So I had no interest in doing anything, and I just walked away from it all. But when Bree Easy introduced me to the microphone again, I just couldn't get away from it because, again, I told you, I've been performing since I was 8. So to get back into a place that made me very, very comfortable was everything. And so I started forming my style, forming what my idea of what I was. And so April 12th, 2014, I met Black Ice. It was at a poetry set in Racine, and he asked me that I want to do and be a part of Poet. I was so thirsty to get back into that whole, I was so thirsty to get back to the whole everything. I was so excited. I gave 1,050 million% of myself, and that's when I met Dub C. So I just love it so much more. I don't know. I guess I could just say that it's a place of freedom. I don't have to bend and be everything that everybody wants me to be. I could be vulnerable. I could be nice. I could be mean. I could be educated. I could be silly. I could do what I want to do. But if, as an artist in the hip hop community, you more than likely streamlined into what your image is. So that picture right there was me opening up and hosting his event. And they like to, as being a former poet laureate of Racine County, sometimes they will call me and say, we got these events coming up. So like I mentioned to you when we first started chatting, more of the stuff that I do now is hosting corporate and, working with the kids and stuff like that. So that was one of those instances that was for the community. Scott Terry does a great job at bringing art right to your face because a lot of people don't give a lot of Black artists, the time and attention and affection that they most rightfully deserve. He has the first Black-owned museum here in Racine. So again, all greatness. God has been good to put me in places of greatness. So
that's what's up. That's what's up. Here's another nice one here.
That was at the Habitat for Humanity inaugural event. It was an auction.
Okay.
It was an auction, and so this was their first auction. And I helped them raise $100,000.
Wow!
It was their first. It wasn't okay. Yeah, it was the one that they not. Yeah, it was because they were bidding. So it was great to be a part of that. So I used to sit on the board of directors for this place called the Hope Center, and it's a place that would like help homeless people and things like that. And because we did this big talent show that I was the stage management for, I hired all the years of experience of performing myself. I was able to put a show together. When you be in a show for so many times, you can only figure out how to run them at some time. At some point, like you see a lot of actors becoming directors now because they've sat on the other side of a director. So why not try your hand at being a director? So that was exactly what I did. So my name started being passed around. And when me and Scott got together, We just couldn't stop because there was a need for his program, and there was a need for me to get my hands back into a place of warmness, which is behind the microphone and sharing light, sharing words. And I like to say that I am that person that's touched every hot plate known to man. So who better than talk about all those different things? I bring forth a level of realism that I don't see a lot of people have.
Do you have any books that you've written? You look you
of,
look and sound like a published author.
and here's the thing: it's not like I can't.
Yeah, right.
It's not like I can't. I just am. I'm very critical on myself.
Okay.
I told you, a few minutes ago or so that I am an avid fan of my delivery, but I'm not an avid fan of my writing. Okay. I think that I'm a good writer. I think that I'm a great writer in certain aspects, but I am my own worst enemy when it comes to that. I have many books written. I just ain't done nothing with them, but I am a published author. Okay. And a couple of poetry anthologies. I've had some of my poetry work. Oh, now look at how cool this is. They had this art program. So in Racine and Kenosha, art and poetry kind of like go hand in hand with each other. Okay. So anytime there's something going on in the artist fair, there's always a poet or something that's around there. So because of that, they took the poet laureates and they took our poems and painted them on pianos. Oh, wow. They painted them on pianos and put them all around Kenosha. So I have been immortalized in that mannerism, and that was just, to have your stuff put out there. So that's still a piece of published work. So, but this is just another sign from the universe telling me to do it. I just got to stop being so hard on myself and do it and just take what I have. I have thousands of writings, boxes and boxes and boxes of stuff. Wow. I can pull together and put together a working novel, but I just ain't done it yet. And I know my people looking at me right now like, hurry up and write the damn book. Yeah, right. Because look, I look at this image right here, and it's such a classic image. I love photos, by the way, but this one right here is really nice. I was in it. I know exactly what piece I was doing because there's a piece that I'm like calling out to God, And when I'm holding my hand like that, it's like me trying to find my help. Closing my eyes is because I'm reading behind my eyes. I have a photographic memory, and I can remember the way stuff look on sheets of paper. It's me tuning everything out so I can get to there. And again, my pontifications in the way that I deliver certain stuff is very important to me, because you could say a whole bunch of wild shit without having no energy or effort into it, and it won't land the way that it's supposed to land in a person's spirit. So I take everybody's spirit very seriously and personally when I do poetry, because I don't look at poetry as an entertainment thing. I look at it as a God-sent ministry, because I talk about everything and a lot of stuff that people are scared to talk about in the mannerism. And this was way before you start seeing all these spoken word artists doing all this stuff. We was just out here, but I had a rawness from the hip hop community that when I transitioned over to poetry, it kind of helped out a lot, because I didn't have no chivalry to it. It was get this work. I could tell that you, just by seeing that little clip at the museum, I was just like, oh, she got some go in her. Oh yeah. And it wasn't nobody that had, and again, it was the blessed with a voice. And I was very self-conscious of my voice as a kid. Okay. Because everybody said you sound like a boy. You sound like a man. I was the tallest one in the class. Okay. And I was bullied until I got like about 12 years old, and that went right out the window. It was what grammar school and what high school did you attend? I went to Earl Elementary School. I went to O'Toole first because we lived on 66 in Damon. Okay. And then we moved to 61st in Marshfield, and I went to Earl. Then we moved back to 64th in Damon. We lived on 66, then we moved back to 64. I was super smart, and I ended up going to Curie High School. Oh, okay. So you went to school on the west side? Yes. Wow. Remember when I told you I know nothing about the west side, but as a kid, I found out about the west side, and where did I end up going to school? Wow. That's what's up. That's what's up. It all came full circle. When you have already conquered all of this over here, my mind wanted to get into something totally different. Okay. I wanted to be involved in, areas that I didn't know. I wanted to know it all. Okay. And that is when my world blew up. Curie was like fame. I don't know if you're familiar with Curie. Curie was like fame. Yeah. 94, 95 have some of the biggest superstars, Grammy Award winners, actresses, actors, everything. Keith, I I forget what Keith's last name is. Keith plays drums for who do you, I told you, oh, this is the old thing going on here. He played, who sing I'ma Be? The Black Eyed Peas.
Oh, I think I know who you.
He played drums for the Black Eyed
Yeah,
Peas.
yeah.
My little brother plays drums for Big Sean. Seriously, he
Wow.
played Coachella, he played Rolling Loud, all of that. My brother plays drums for Big Sean, and my cousin is a Harlem Globetrotter. So when I tell you that our family was all entertainers, and if you don't get up and do something, you ain't a part of the family no more, because everybody doing something.
Right.
We was the hood Michael Jackson family.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Man, wow. So what
I've been everywhere.
Yeah. So what's one of your fondest memories of some of your performances or events?
Performing with the Last Poets.
Okay.
Performing with the Last Poets, opening up for Jay-Z, seeing what a green room was like back then.
Okay. Uh-oh. Looks like we might have lost our guest. Yeah, I think her battery must have went out on her. Yeah. So, I don't know if she'll be back, but we're coming up on the hour anyway. It's 8:55 here in the windy city of Chicago in the Midwest. And once again, my name is Artistic. This is Rep Your City RYC Live Fresh Friday. We do this each and every Friday night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And so if you would like to be a guest on a future show, please do send us an email to ryclive@yahoo.com. That's ryclive@yahoo.com. And someone from the team will be more than happy to get back to you and book you for a future date on a future show. Yes. And if you like the programming that we provide, you want to continue to support us, you can send us a monetary donation to our Cash App, which is, it's on the rolling text down there at the bottom of your screen. And that is RYC Live. The Cash App symbol, the $, RYC Live is our Cash App. And yeah, nothing too small will, or any amount will be appreciated, shall I say. We want to just encourage everyone again, if you have not been to the Chicago Hip Hop Heritage Museum, we kick off July 1st, 2024 with a brand new exhibit. So that basically is a little in the next 2 weeks, we'll be opening back up. July 1st is actually on a Monday. So today is the 14th. So you got time to make plans and make your arrangements, put your affairs in order to get over to the Chicago Hip Hop Heritage Museum to visit myself, my brother Kingdom Rock, my homeboy Dante, and Brian Gorman, and the rest of the team. Oh, looks like she's popping back in. Let's see here. Uh-oh. There she is. Yeah, I was hoping. I said, man, I hope she got a charger right there. Yeah.
I did. It sure just dropped out. I was like, we was having, you know what? The phone was a hater. We was having too much fun.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, that's the challenge with the phone. You know, you get to dropping all this knowledge and science. You know, the phone is just going to explode.
Absolutely. I'm so sorry about that. I called myself charging it, but apparently I told you this is that old lady thing.
So what would you like to say? What would you like to say? Can you hear me? It's kind of breaking up a little bit.
I can hear you.
Okay. What would you like to say in conclusion? Because we're coming up on our hour mark. What would you like to say to any up and coming artists that may be trying to get into the game? You know, you with your experience, what would you like to say to any of them, male or female?
Retain your originality and always be true to yourself and work hard at your craft, because if you don't work hard, ain't nobody gonna believe in you if you don't believe in yourself. You know, you're gonna get those no's, but use those no's as a catalyst to continue until you get to a yes. Don't ever take no for an answer. If one person says no, go somewhere else, because everybody, you know what I'm saying? There's multiple opportunities, especially now. But you have to hone in on your craft and actually be serious about it. You have to do what's necessary to get the job done. You can't just depend on it and wait for it to happen overnight, because it's really hard now.
Yeah.
Because you got any and everybody out here doing it. So now you got to really hone in your craft, and you got to be great. You got to be great at it, because everybody is a lot of good people out here. So you got to be great. Just don't give up on yourself if it doesn't happen at a more rapid pace than what you want it to.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Great advice. Great advice. So how can people follow you, or book you for an event?
This is crazy. So I'm promise you, I feel like a teenager. You're like, just turn the TV. I feel so unprofessional. I'm so sorry. But listen, the old lady did good the first 40 minutes of this. But you can find me, the Lyrical Lioness, at YouTube. I'm on YouTube. I'm on I was going to say MySpace, on Facebook and Instagram. Again, I'm not really artisty in this day right now. I'm doing a lot of hosting and events, stuff like that. So if you are interested in me hosting one of your events, please feel free to reach out to me. I also started my own business called She Pours Bartending Service. It's a portable bartending service that has worked as a temp service. So if you're looking for a bartender, I'll be getting that up to that. She Pours, She Roars, and She Orgs, baby. It's all about the She brand. So I kind of got my hands into a lot of different things, but just the Lyrical Lioness, you'll be able to find me.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Well, thank you so much for coming on, taking a little time out of your night to share.
And I'm
your
so sorry
story.
about this. I feel so terrible about it.
Oh no, it's good. I mean, one of the things that we do is we archive and preserve history, our legacy, our contributions, no doubt. Our contributions are important, and people won't know about the contributions if they're not archived.
Right.
So, you can do something, but if it's not recorded and documented properly and then shared, most people won't even know what you did. That's the reason why when you look at a lot of stuff, when you go back in history, especially like even when you go to a museum, the whole idea is to preserve the contributions of the people that's in the museum, so that future generations of people can know what a group of people did at one time, right? So when we talk about Chicago hip hop, we're talking about just that. We're talking about preserving the legacy of the artists from Chicago. And
again, like I said, like when you guys called us and we came down and you put us into the music, I was in tears. It was kind of like we.
Oh wow, we lost her again. I don't know if her phone is charged enough to keep the charge to stay on. But we're going to have to go ahead and conclude the show. So y'all will be back once again with another episode next Friday, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, same channel, same platform. Continue to show your love and support. Once again, if you'd like to show some love with monetary donations, please send them to RYC Live on our Cash App. That's RYC Live on our Cash App. Okay. We want to thank Lyrical Lioness for coming on to the show tonight. Great show, great information. It's always good to be able to talk to our own, to hear their stories. And, y'all know what time it is. So don't forget to rep your city wherever you at. My name is Artistic, and I'm out. Peace, y'all.